In this new Ultimate Team series, I make the best team I believe possible, picking players from all eras of NBA history. It isn't just about how talented the teams are, but I'm also trying to build teams that would gel and execute well together. Today, we're looking at the Ultimate Magic team. Before I get started, here are the rules you need to know. To build each franchise's Ultimate Team, I will be picking a starting 5, a second unit representing each position, and then 3 additional rotation players at any position I choose. In total, there will be 13 roster spots. It's worth mentioning that I will not simply be building these teams based on how talented each player is, but I'll also be factoring in how well these players would do together as teammates. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting at the point guard position is the electrifying Penny Hardaway. This 6'7" star was a strong combo guard who could dominate opposing teams with his tremendous scoring or with his quality facilitating. For a while in Orlando, him and Shaq were seen as one of the most formidable duos in the entire league. Not only did Penny have a size advantage over most point guards, but he also had a solid handle of the basketball and proved himself to be a dangerous perimeter threat in clutch situations. At his best in 1995, he averaged about 21 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds on 51% shooting from the field. Starting at shooting guard is the incredible 6'8" wing, Tracy McGrady. Not only was he an all-star every season he was in Orlando, but T-Mac was legitimately in the conversation for being the best player in the league. He led the league in scoring twice, getting as high as 32 points per game in 2003. For years, he was carrying the offense on a bad Magic team. But on this Ultimate squad, he'll have plenty of open looks, as he'll finally have the superstar support to draw some of the defensive attention away. Starting at small forward is the 6'8" All-Star Grant Hill. His prime was definitely in Detroit, and when he went to Orlando, many people assumed the Magic were going to get the same level of excellence. Well, unfortunately, Hill's time in Orlando was riddled with injuries, but he did manage to squeeze in one healthy All-Star season, where he averaged about 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists on 51% shooting from the field. Due to the injuries, much of his previous explosiveness was gone, but he was still a fundamentally sound player who was very effective in the mid-range game. Starting at power forward is the 6'10" All-Star Rashard Lewis. As a legitimate stretch 4, Lewis had a skill set that was way ahead of his time, and with his ability to stretch the floor, he'll be an incredibly valuable asset to this starting 5 that is in desperate need of his quality perimeter shooting. At his best in 2009, he put up roughly 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists on 44% shooting and nearly 40% from three-point range. Starting at center is one of the greatest big men to ever do it, Shaquille O'Neal. In Orlando, this 7'1" superstar was at his peak athletically, as he was in slimmer shape and was faster, quicker, and could leap higher as a result. He was a statistical monster in 1994 as he averaged 29 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks, on a league-leading 60% shooting from the field. Now on to the second unit. The backup point guard is the 6'1" floor general, Scott Skiles. This facilitator is actually the NBA record holder for the most assists in a single game, as he got a total of 30 against the Denver Nuggets in 1990. He was a fast-paced player who was often the giver on many of Shaq's highlight slams. In 1991, he averaged 17 points, 8 assists, and 3 rebounds on tremendous efficiency splits. The backup shooting guard is the 6'6" wing, Nick Anderson. He was an athletic high flyer who helped his Magic make it to the NBA Finals in 1995. His individual best came in 1993, as he averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists while hitting 45% of his shots. With his energy and skill set, he'll be a tremendous spark off the bench for this Ultimate squad. The backup small forward is the versatile 6'10" weapon, Turkalo. In the late 2000s, he was the perfect complementary piece alongside of Dwight Howard, as he was a dangerous spot-up three-point shooter. Specifically, in 2008, he was second on the entire team in scoring, trailing only Howard, as he chipped in with nearly 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists on 46% shooting and 40% from three-point distance. The backup power forward is the 6'10 champion Horace Grant. His best was certainly with Chicago, but without a doubt, he was still very effective in Orlando. In his first season with the team, he was averaging a near double-double while hitting a stellar 57% of his shots. When a more traditional approach is needed at the 4 spot, he'll make a solid substitution for Rashard Lewis, as Grant has pre-existing chemistry with Shaq and Penny from the 90s. The backup center is the athletic beast Dwight Howard. He was never the dominant 30 points per game scorer that Shaq was, which is why the Diesel got the starting nod from me. But he was a guy who would regularly get 20 points and 20 rebounds on the same night, and was considered as the top center in the league for several seasons. Along with that, Howard was a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year winner, as he would often swat shots into the 3rd row. Now on to the 3 rotation players. The first is the all-star point guard Jamir Nelson. He was an excellent floor general and a smart decision maker, as he averaged very few turnovers throughout his NBA career. During his peak, he was a tremendous shooter from 3-point range, which will be yet another area where he can be massively impactful in his reserve role. The second rotation player is the 6'8 wing Dennis Scott. Continuing with the theme of this roster, Scott is yet another dangerous perimeter shooter, as he was consistently among the league leaders in 3-point percentage and 3-point attempts. In 1996, he averaged 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists on 44% shooting and a lethal 42.5% from deep. The third rotation spot, and the last spot on this roster, goes to the 6'10 center Nikola Vucevic. Obviously, Shaquille O'Neal and Dwight Howard will get the vast majority of the minutes, but whenever Nikola is called upon, he'll do an excellent job of holding down the position, as he was an elite big in his own right. In 2019, he averaged a whopping 21 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists on 52% shooting from the field. So here's a final look at the complete roster of this Ultimate Magic team. Although this may not be the deepest and the most stacked team in the series, I actually really like how this roster filled out, as there is a plethora of snipers to surround Shaquille O'Neal and Dwight Howard, and that inside-out playstyle has really been successful for both centers in the past. Do you think this Magic team will make the ultimate playoffs in the Eastern Conference? Let me know your opinion. Also, here's my list of honorable mentions. Should any of these players have made the roster instead? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.